This is the Investor Connect podcast program. I'm Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of the show in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, family offices, private equity, and many other investors for early stage and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Investor Connect is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors and startups for fundraising. Please consider donating $100 to the program to help others in their investor and entrepreneur journey. You can find the donate button on the investorconnect.org website. Hello, this is Hall Marte with Investor Connect. Today I'm here with Coss, founder and CEO at CONBODY. CONBODY is a prison-style boot camp that employs formerly incarcerated individuals as fitness instructors. Coss, thank you for joining us.
No, thank you for having me, Hall. I appreciate it.
Great. So what was your background before founding CONBODY?
Yeah, CONBODY was derived from my personal experience and story. I grew up in a heavily infested drug neighborhood in the Lower East Side of New York City. And as a kid, I grew up with not much. And my mom immigrated from the Dominican Republic when she was pregnant with me. And we ended up in this neighborhood where I saw drugs day in and day out. And as a kid, people would ask me, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would tell them I wanted to be rich. And the first avenue I received to become rich was through the world of drugs. I started dealing at 13, and by the age of 19, I was making over $2 million a year. I was running one of the largest drug delivery services in New York City, but everything ended when I went into prison and was sentenced to 7 years in prison when I was 23 years old. When I got locked up, that's when I found out I had all types of health issues. Doctors in prison told me if I didn't eat correctly or work out, that I could probably die of a heart attack within 5 years. And being sentenced to 7 and told that I was going to live in 5 or be dead in 5, I was like, I need to start moving. So I worked out obsessively. I lost over 70 pounds in 6 months. And then I started this whole workout program in the prison yard. I helped over 20 inmates lose over 1,000 pounds combined. So I took that same workout method I implemented on myself. I was doing it with other inmates. And it was now towards the end of my incarceration where I was thinking I was about to be released, and I was thinking about like what I really wanted to do in my life, was when I call it a spiritual awakening, while I was sitting in solitary confinement, where I thought about CONBODY and I came up with a business plan.
Great. Well, the fitness is an interesting space to be in. What's your advice for people investing in fitness?
People investing in fitness, I don't know. There's so many categories in fitness right now. I mean, there's just like you have the virtual, you have in person, you have classes, you have gyms, you have equipment. For me, I have the more experience on like the virtual offering and the subscription model basis. So we have a subscription model that teaches fitness classes through virtual live videos and pre-recorded videos. And then we also have a fitness studio where we teach classes at. So I know more of that, but my advice, I would say, it depends. What is that person looking to do, and what's their 5-year, 10-year plan? Where do they want to take this at? And see what if your visions align with that person, and if you believe in that individual, that if you believe in that individual, if he's going to take it to that or she's going to take it to that level.
Well, that's good advice. Well, let's talk about the state of the fitness sector out there. You mentioned there's many different sectors. That's interesting. And you're working both online and offline. But how do you see the fitness industry evolving from here? Where do you see it's going?
I mean, it's grew tremendously. And we saw that with like the Peloton Rage. We've seen, the subscription model and the actual like hardware model blowing up since the pandemic. And I think we went from like a $7 billion industry in 2015, 2016. And in just 5 years, it grew to like a $40 billion industry. Wow. So it was blown up, through all these new models and especially through the pandemic with subscriptions and doing virtual stuff. I believe it's going to be a hybrid in the future. And that's where we're working on right now. And that's how we've been handling our situation, where we have our classes in person being live streamed. And so we have cameras set up in the studio where people can actually view us from all around the world, and then have people like sign up in person if they want that in-person experience, but also have a great experience at home at the same time. So it's going to be a combination of things, and I feel like if you're not pivoting to make that move right now, then you're probably going to miss out. If you think that old gym model is going to work, it's not going to work. We gotta figure it out, and we got to move forward.
So what's the growth rate of the online sector? It appears that's the part that's growing fastest. And what can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I mean, it's grown tremendously, primarily since the pandemic, and November, December, January for us. Like, it was tough with Omicron in person, but the virtual stuff just picked up for us, and what we've created was a model that's very affordable, easy to do, and it has a mission behind it. I feel like a lot of people today are investing in companies that are mission oriented, and there's where the customer base is following. A lot of our customers could have the options to go to SoulCycle or Barry's or F45. They have the funds, but they want to invest in us, not only because we have a great product, but we also have a mission behind us. And I feel like it's a combination of things.
Great. So what are the challenges in running a fitness company in today's market? What have you been facing putting your program together?
I think for us, we've been successful on like being very unique, and speaking out from all the saturated noise of the vanity workout. I feel like what we have is different because we have a mission behind it. We're employing people that have been incarcerated. We have something that hasn't been done before, and now there's people like piggybacking that we see, doing stuff in other parts of the world. Like I've seen a company in Spain and Australia trying to do similar concepts as us. But yeah, I mean, it's a saturated market. We could see that there's a fitness studio and everywhere. But you gotta be unique. You gotta be different, and I feel like that's how we broke through all the saturation.
Great. Well, you talked about CONBODY being a recurring revenue, a subscription model with an online component. Can you tell us more about CONBODY and how you fit into the overall fitness landscape?
Yeah, I mean, we're not a Peloton, or there's a bigger companies like that have IPO'd. But that's where I wish to be, IPO or be acquired eventually. We're so small. I haven't been able to raise a lot of funds. Primarily in the beginning was, my background. I've been incarcerated, and I didn't go to college. I didn't graduate or anything like that. I figured it out and self-educated myself and used the transferable skills that I had from the streets to doing it legally, and self-taught a lot of the stuff that I know today. But yeah, we do fit in a unique market. We feel like we could take advantage of the market and disrupt it. I feel like there's no other fitness studio or fitness, recurring model online that actually has a mission orientated, a goal behind them. And I feel like what we are doing, we're creating a movement to hire as many people coming out of the prison system as possible. We have so much talent, untapped talent, from people that have been incarcerated. I feel like the smartest, most charismatic, and primarily I trust more people that have been incarcerated because they're more loyal than this people that's been in the streets. You'd be surprised. I mean, I've been doing this for 6-7 years now, and I have people, my retention rate for employees are 4 years right now. So like once they come with me, they want to stay with me, unless they want to reach another goal. And I've helped other people transition to doing other stuff.
So for someone who's incarcerated, it can be hard to find a job, and I guess you're making that much easier for them to actually find a good, interesting job. How does that work?
So how we do it is we were featured on like Men's Fitness, Men's Health, and a lot of inmates read magazines. You really don't have that much commercial TV to promote, so we get tons of letters. I get like a lot of my wife calls it like fan jail mail. Where we get these people like writing us and saying like, I've been working out in the yard for 10 years. I'm coming home in 6 months. Like I want to be a personal trainer with you. I want to work out with you. And so we give them an opportunity as soon as someone comes home and they want to be serious about their, programming and getting readapting back into society. We put them through a pretty vigorous program for 2.5 months. It's a paid internship. If they do well and they graduate and they get, the certification through that program that we offer, then we work on onboarding them on our platform. We onboard them as trainers in person too.
You have any requirements for someone to enter the internship program? Is it very selective, or can anyone join?
Anyone could join. We haven't we don't have people that have like sexual misconduct or any like sexual history behind them. We work with a lot of females. I don't feel comfortable right now at this position or ready to take on that task. But we take in anyone, whether it's a violent crime, and a lot of people, think about, well, you hire violent offenders, yeah, but a lot of stuff is skewed because we could consider somebody as a violent offender that had a fight with their brother or sister, and then the cops were called, and now you have an assault charge, and it was just a simple like rumble or a bar fight, and now we hear assault, and so we have this perception as this animal predator type of individual, and that's what I feel like we've done very successfully, is like really change a lot of perceptions on what other people see former incarcerated people as.
Great. And what's the advantage of an incarcerated person taking the job versus just anybody off the street? Do they have any special skills, or are they better at it in some way?
I feel like a lot of people that I hire are just so much hungrier and so much loyal, and they're eager to learn, and they feel so appreciative to be part of our family, basically. I mean, it's just a different type. We run a different type of company. It's more of a community base, and we help them with all types of, resources on the back end. We help with housing, we help with clothing and all types of stuff that they need, anything financial help, planning. So it's more than just like, hey, here's a job, and I feel like a lot of people that want a regular job, and I get people that reach out to me, who want to work with us, or are qualified trainers. But it's for them, it feels like, or for me, it feels like it's just like a basic person that they just need a 9 to 5 and they just want to leave. And the people that we hire, it's not a 9 to 5 gig for them. It's like, I'm working after hours, I'm promoting, I'm working with the brand, I'm talking to clients, and it's just more of a community than just a regular 9 to 5 job.
Great. Well, let's talk about the business itself. Are you planning to expand through franchising, or what's the business model going forward to do expansion?
Yeah, right now I have over, I don't know, maybe over 80 franchise requests. And that's something that I'm really exploring. We get all these requests that want to open up here and there, but probably about 20% of them are real. I'm having conversations. I feel like I need to raise money to take on that path, legal fees and learning. And I'm also educating myself on what franchise laws mean in different states and the criteria of that. But right now, at the current moment, I'm really concentrating on expanding online. I feel like we could service an excellent product, and you could do this anywhere, anytime, with no equipment and just your body weight, and see actual results and support a mission. And we've done that pretty successfully. And right now I'm working with closing out B2B contracts. And so I want to subsidize companies, their employees, fitness. And I feel like we could do that for a very minimal price. Today, we charge bigger companies $10 per person per month to do our workouts. We have a contract with RGA, one of the biggest marketing firms. We have people on our platform from there. We have people from Vice. We have people from VaynerMedia who are using our product and is subsidized by their company. And then their company is meeting their social responsibility as well as giving back to a company that's not only a person of color but a person that's doing the right thing to help humanity and people and give people second chances.
There's many different kinds of fitness workouts. There's strength, cardio, yoga, Pilates. There's so many different types. Which ones do you focus on?
So I created my own method. I call it a prison style boot camp. It sounds intense. Anybody could do it. My mom is 67 years old and she does this 4 times a week. She's a beast and she's in shape, but I have people that weigh over 300 pounds working on our program. Then I have people that are 125 pounds, but what we do is set the bar really high, and it's a 45-minute workout nonstop. You might have heard of like HIIT programs, high intensity interval training. You take 45 seconds, you work people out and then take a break. What we do is 45 minutes and then you take a break. It's nonstop movement. We mostly work on different parts of your body every day of the week. And that's how we operate.
I guess you call that UHIIT, ultra high intensity interval training. It's 45 minutes without stopping. That'll get you in shape pretty fast, I think.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, in the last few minutes that we have here, what else should we cover that we haven't?
If you're a person that believes in second chances and wants to give back to society in a certain way, and I feel like we have so much untapped talent, and for those who are listening, and not really interested in the fitness industry, consider those individuals that are applying, who have a record and want a second chance. I'm not going to tell you everybody's going to work out. I'm not going to promise you that, but from what I've seen, I've seen the most loyalist people, and I want people to change their perception. And then also support us. If you want to work out, if you want to excellent and great workout with us, sign up. It's very affordable, $14 a month. Come check us out at CONBODY.com. Great.
How best for listeners to get back in touch with you personally?
You can personally email me. I'm pretty on top of my emails at Coss Marte, Marte at CONBODY.com. You can hit my Twitter up. You can hit my Instagram up. I'm pretty active on both pages. So there's where you can hit me up. And also at CONBODY, where we have somebody handling all our social platforms at CONBODY.
Great. We'll include that in the show notes. Want to thank you for joining us today and hope to have you back for a follow-up soon.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Paul T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early-stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.